Oh, okay. Hello? Hello. How do I rotate PDF for this wonderful stream that I'm trying to do? Is the sound working? Is the sound good? Who knows? I need my monitor. Hello? Hello? Can't hear shit. That's great. I need a monitor. I need my monitor. Hi everyone, and welcome to the stream. I can't tell at all if my sound is going okay, because like everything, how about now? Hello? Who knows how anything's supposed to work these days? All I know is that nothing's working. Hi. Sound a bit quiet. Hold on. Now, here we go. Now I'm closer to the microphone. Hey. Hi everyone. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the end of the month. Hangout. And if you don't know how the Hangout works, is we sit around and we talk shit for like an hour, and we try to have fun. There's no rules. There's no rules, like at all. Two things, I guess, a few things. One, I usually open mail on these. I'm not doing that anymore because y'all can't be trusted with a PO box. Two, my video is delayed. Now, typically, I aim to have a video done by the end of the month, and we're like a week into February, and my video still isn't done. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's currently an hour and a half long, and it turns out that like it takes a long time. I don't know what you mean. It takes a long time to edit a video, so like my video is not out yet, but it's very, very long, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. You know how it is. Yeah. But if you, the way this works is you can ask me like questions in the chat if you want, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Like the point is to just hang out and have a sort of like a grounding moment for me, where I talk to you, my dear viewers, to figure out, you know, how you are, and so that you can see that I'm still a bit of a mess. Just dropped baby bell wax on the floor. That's great. We're off to a wonderful start. Thank you, Domestic, for $10. Thank you very much. $10. I do like that. What happened to the PO box? A few things happened with the PO box. Some people were very sexual with it. The vast majority of people who sent me letters and who sent me like gifts and shit, I really do fucking appreciate it. And I had a great, I did enjoy the vast majority of it. But there were two issues with it. One was that it was really fucking far away, and it took like 3 hours out of a day to go and check the mailbox, and sometimes it was empty. So I don't really want to spend like half of my free time on a day to check an empty mailbox. So, you know. And the other issue is that sometimes when I open the mailbox, there would be people who would like not very like tongue-in-cheek, a little like a little scampy in a scampy way, draw very creepy like sexual fan art, and would like write about me in a way that the vibes were not good. And I think it's really unfortunate because, one, I kind of do like the concept of people sending me like erotic fan art. That's kind of actually fun if you do it like ironically and you have like a little tongue-in-cheek humor about it, and you're actually, you know, seeing me as a person. But if you do it to the point where like where I start to worry whether or not you have a shrine in your house to me, I don't want to see that shit. So I did that. The thing that put it over the top though was that it was one person trying to figure out where I live using the PO box, like my real life location, and that shit was like, huh! Like it happened once, but that one time it happened is like, huh? So that's a little scary, I will say. But like the vast majority of people, like I think the type of, like whenever I bring this up, there's always people who are like, did I do something? Did I cause some drama or some shit? If you're worrying about that, like you didn't probably, because the people who were creepy were really fucking creepy. Like I must think that they were intentional about it. So that is what it is. However, if you did send me a Minimia, if that's a real thing, the PO box is still open, and I'm still going to like, the PO box is still there. I'm just not going to renew it, if that makes sense. For those of you who are curious about that, I'm not gonna, like, it's like I ordered it for like a year, so I still have a few months left on it. But you know, so it's one of those situations where like you can send me shit if you want to, but like in the long-term future I might not be able to do that. But primarily I don't want to have the expectation here on the stream primarily of people sending me like really creepy fan fiction of me or like telling me things that are not like okay to say, and then expecting me to read that out on this Hangout, because I read some letters like during the early stages of the PO box, and much like another YouTuber used to do, and which I really enjoyed, and it was a great time. It was very fun. But then I started getting letters that were really creepy, that were really weird, with the implication that I was gonna like open it on this Hangout stream and be uncomfortable on camera or something like that. So that's weird. Don't do that. But however, like it's not a huge issue. It's just one of those things that are like, that's a bummer, and then kind of takes the fun out of the PO box as a thing a little bit. So if people want to do fan art, or if people really want to send me shit, you can still send me like an email, and you can send me like objects too if there's something that you really, really want me to see. The PO box just gives it just makes it too easy for creeps. Can't be trusted with the PO box. What do I do with all of these confidential documents? If you want to send me confidential documents, you still can. That's okay. Sorry, God, my voice is like breaking a little bit. I'm slowly starting to like try to do more voice training things. And I'm not like doing the mini mouse voice like here on stream, right? But like it's letting itself be known. As for me as Twitter, did anyone figure out what the Twitter drama was? Honestly, like I woke up this morning and there was so much fucking drama on Twitter, and I still don't really understand what half of it was about. Something had to do with some Twitch streamer being racist, some person talking about like whether or not passing is good or not. Didn't understand it, and I decided to say fuck it. So I was like some quick shitstorming 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and I sleep in on Sundays, and just like I don't know, I still don't know what the deal was. I've been spending the rest of my day playing World of Warcraft instead of keeping up with Twitter drama, which honestly I think is very mentally healthy of me to do. Hope you're doing great. I'm doing fine. I'm a little overworked when it comes to this fucking video that's taking too fucking long, because like at the same time I'm making this video, there's also like a lot of other shit happening in my life at the same time, which obviously like people on YouTube don't see. Like people on the internet look like they don't see that shit. So it's this weird balancing act of I need to do some things, but also the internet can't see that I'm doing shit, so I need to do that stuff. So I'm just a lot of balls in there, but I'm doing great actually. I'm drinking so much fucking coffee though. Coffee is like literally a delight. I briefly considered something, but somebody said I barely use snail mail anyway. I mean, you can still send me like emails. There's an email contact on my like about page, so if you really want to send me some shit, you still can. So like, don't feel pressure to send anything like before the PO box closes or anything, because like nothing is impossible if you really want to, which is not an encouragement for stalkers. It's not impeachable to receive confidential documents. That's true. Your voice is higher. Well, we'll see. Hello all the way from Malaysia, where it's 3 a.m. Shit. I was up at 3 a.m. yesterday. But that was a yesterday thing. And like I'm still a little messed up from like staying up so late. So I hope mesothelioma that you get to bed soon. But I appreciate that you're here. I know about the drama. It's not worth your time. Honestly, that's what I figured. Also, I just realized I've been just talking to chat for a little bit. It's 15 minutes past, and I still haven't talked about what the format of this fucking show is, what the stream is typically. So the format of the stream typically is talking about the month that has been and the month that's coming up. And in the month that has been, typically I would talk about the video that's been out, and I haven't done that. It's not out yet. So the month that has been, it's like, oh, I came back from holiday because it was January, and I've been working on this video, and I've had migraines a lot. That's what happened, which is unfortunate, but also like, it's what are you gonna do? So that's been happening the last month. Not much else to say. I've been recording podcasts too, Leechfest's episodes, and that should be out soon when we manage to edit those episodes. So that's been happening the last month. So it's been a lot of like preparatory work for shit that's gonna release in February. So you'll see that when it's out, so to say. But in the month that's coming up, it's first of all, it's my January video that's gonna come out next week, hopefully Wednesday, and then I also have a video for the last day of February, and I can't move that one because that's a sponsored video, and sponsored videos are typically more, they're a bit more hard-assy when it comes to the deadline. So February, you're gonna get 2 videos to compensate for me being a bit late here. And I'll try to get this, like, video game streaming on Twitch up too. But that's basically what's happened. Like, not much else has happened. I haven't done any collabs. I haven't done any huge projects. Nothing's come out yet. But that is basically what's been going on. Next future monthly hangouts are going to be a bit more chill. Yeah. I guess that's also one thing that I've been doing the last month, is like I've been trying to do a bit more voice training shit, which doesn't reflect in the video because I shot the video before I started the voice training and stuff. But in February, hopefully, if I don't fucking forget or fall off the wagon, you're gonna hear me do my fucking Minnie Mouse voice shit, because 2023 is the year of restarting transitions and doing it right this time. So anyway, that's the format. We're done. Now I have 40 minutes left of the stream because nothing else been happening, and I'm not opening mail, so you know. Now what? How are you doing? How are people feeling in the Ethernet sphere? I hope you're doing great. I was forced to learn about the drama. Yeah. Yeah, saying fuck it to Twitter drama is like legitimately very freeing to do, I think, because like people get angry at Twitter like literally every single day about something. So I feel like it's just easier for people to like it's very easy and fun to like dig into Twitter drama for like a little bit, and because it like it gets the brain going a little bit. But then after you do that for like a few years, you just become like bitter and angry and like annoyed all the time. And like I know this from experience, right? Because like I used to be like one of the very angry people on Twitter, and then I got like a smidge of an audience, and suddenly I could see how that affected me, and I was like, oh damn, this sucks. Tumblr's been really into vanilla extract in the last few days. What? Is it because vanilla extract is like, what, hold on. Why is Tumblr into vanilla extract? I saw an article about vanilla extract, about it like being equivalent to 4 shots of vodka, but I don't think that can't be true, right? Internet doesn't know that Plant has a wedding. It's been taking up a lot of Mia's time to plan. Actually, okay, yeah, it's not the plan. Plans have, I've done a lot of plan shit this month, and there have been wedding shit also like going on recently. Not mine, but it's been happening like around. So that has also actually been taking up time. So you're not completely wrong. Ooh, French press is fucking good. Mia, hello. Hi everyone. This month and last is all protest from here in the UK. Alternative fascists showed up one day in Norwich and started a fist fight. Heavy. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on in the UK. I know it's something that like has to do with the Scottish gender identity law that's like been debated, that like passed in the Scottish Parliament and then got blocked by the UK government, because they can just do that, and apparently they can do that but have never done it until on this law because they hate trans people, and because like they're gonna use it as a culture war issue. And now like every day on like BBC Scotland, it's apparently been chaos. I don't live in Scotland and I don't typically read the BBC, but I've heard that shit's been a shitstorm, and I don't envy that situation, because like getting shit sounds like it sucks, and the UK is becoming more and more normal like by the minute. How's being a politician going? Okay, question for you actually. Now that we're having a sort of conversation back and forth, we're hanging out on the Hangout stream. How do you feel about me talking about like doing political work? Because I talked about it a lot during the election, because it took up a large part of like my life, right? But when I do these like Hangout things, there's a part of me that's thinking like, shouldn't this be more like typically like me talking about like YouTube work? Because I feel like, and maybe I am overthinking this a little bit. Oh, my microphone's very low actually. Oh, hello. Oh, Jesus Christ. I just noticed my microphone was very low. Now it should be a bit more cranked up. Hello. Because to me I'm like, these are very two different parts of my life right now. Like I do YouTube work, internet work, for a lack of a better term, like shit posting on Twitter, making YouTube videos, streaming occasionally when I have time, and I don't really have a lot of time like that anymore, unfortunately. And then I have like the political stuff where I go to an office and I talk about like elder care homes and shit, and like they're very like different, and they're not interconnected at all. There's very little overlap, and I don't necessarily like want to like bore you with that. So if you're like, let's stay focused on like YouTube internet work, sort of like what you know me for, then that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. And if I ever do end up talking about politics, then I would do that in terms of like, in a way that's hopefully interesting to y'all. But however, to answer the question, it's been going okay. It's been going fine. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of stressful work, because like every day is a lot of fucking work, and trying to sort of like shift between YouTube work and political work is like it's currently the hardest thing that I have to deal with, because on one end I have people who like help me do a lot of the work that I do right now. Like I have some people who help me with YouTube. I have some people who help me do political work. different people, obviously, but having to like shift from the mind space of one thing into doing the other thing is the most difficult part. So like editing my current video, for example, is kind of difficult to do when I'm thinking about like articles I have to write and like propositions that I have to submit and meeting notes that I have to prepare and like bylaw negotiations shit that I have to do. And then when I do those things, I'm thinking about the video. So it's like the fact that I'm doing both of them is difficult. But it's also been a very like intense few weeks. Like coming back to work from holiday, starting up 2 completely new processes, and like finishing up this video and like starting political work in a new office for a new year. Hopefully that's going to like slow down over the year. I think January is probably like the roughest month on for me right now. But I think February is going to be easier, and I think March is going to be easier, and I think it's just going to like keep getting better as the year progresses. Hopefully, but you know, we'll see. I have to move on. I'll find out tomorrow. Keep me posted about that. I want to know how you manage that, by the way. Bake the great cheesecake, fuck yeah. Your first gender clinic appointment on Valentine's Day? That's cute. Twitter is like politics, but with no effect on the outside world. Yes. The trick to Twitter drama is to get involved in stuff that has absolutely zero real consequences. Video games, TV, movies, so you can just laugh it off after. Oh, probably, yeah. That sounds like that actually sounds like the healthiest way to do it. Department of Revenue. Oh, fun. How many meaningless dramas I've missed? How much important information you've missed? Nothing. 0. Yes, Finland passed self-ID recently and got rid of forced sterilization laws, which means that, which is very good. Fucking finally, but also this means that Sweden now has the most outdated gender identity law in Scandinavia, which is great. I love that. God's judgment is soon upon us. A hangout can also be positive, just something about life. I would rather have an honest politician. We'll see how honest I end up being, though, because like I mean, you know, I'm not very high up, right? I'm a city councilor. Like it's not very significant political work, but here's the thing, right? Even though it's like very small work. It's like very small, sort of like small impact work, especially since I'm not in power. They the corruption investigators will sometimes like just pop into my mail and being like, "Hey, dude, like you had a meeting with this company the other week. Did you take any bribes? Did you like get any gifts or anything? Like, did you take anything regarding that? Like, are you discussing any like major issues?" And I'd have to reply being like, "No, I took a notebook from their office and that was it." And then they're like, "Okay, that's fine," because they want to make sure that we're not like corrupt. But you know, they're looking at sort of like very typical quid pro quo shit and not like actual corruption. There's so much fucking corruption. Hold on, like I have a video that's gonna come out in 3.5 years that I've been working on also about politics generally, and how you can't trust politicians. And I've been slowly working on it for like months and months and months, since before the election. And it's gonna be a good video, I think. It better be, because I'm gonna have years to work on it. But it's how do you say? There's so much like bullshit. There's like everything that you think is bad about politics is kind of true. Like everything. Like why did the government do this bad decision? And then you're like, oh well, it's because this bad decision actually benefits like the mayor's friend who owns a building, and now suddenly that building is going to be worth a lot more money, so then he gets more money for his consulting firm, where the deputy mayor is going to work later. Like it's all that kind of fucking bullshit. Ah. Hold on, do people not reply to those emails? Am I the only one who does that? Because I thought that was kind of mandatory. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm the only politician that's like, I took a notebook. Shit. You're the only politician I trust to tell it like it is. I hope so. I tried to be nice. I'm interested here about your experience as a politician. Also, you have the flex about having more political experience than 99% of political content creators. See, that's why I did it. That's why I did it. So like whenever, like that's that. Like, if I ever like, get into debates or some shit like that with like some other like left-wing political commentator or some shit like that, I have that as some sort of like an ace in the hole about like if the question ever comes up of like, well, who is actually doing the most to change people's lives, I win. Because I get to complain when the government like underfunds schools and shit. Self-reporting corruption, that ought to work. Yeah, I mean, I assume I better hope that they're doing more than just ask how we're doing. But I hope so. School theory discuss larger international issues. That's true. There's also been like Sweden's international shit has been wild lately, which is like a whole other thing. Us trying to join NATO has been a mess. I don't know if you've been following the news, but it's a mess. It's a mess, folks. Because we got like everyone's protesting Turkey because everyone hates Turkey, but everyone wants to join NATO, but because we hate Turkey, Turkey won't let us join NATO. So now there's like this conflict within a lot of like especially like right-wing political circles here in Sweden about whether or not like the right wing is like extreme about this, because on the far right, which are currently propping up the government, they want to have the right to be racist. They want to be able to burn Qurans and like be racist towards Turkish people, while the right wing government wants to join NATO, and might be forced to like ban the burning of religious texts or something of that nature. And because they're allied with like Nazis who want to be racist, they can't do that because they rely on free speech. I like the Swedish version of free speech. And then you have people on the left who support, you know, Kurdish movements, and who also are criticizing the government trying to join NATO because they might want to limit the right to like support terror organizations, which basically just means like having a pin of the YPG or like waving a flag of the PKK or something like that. Ah. See, this is why making videos like is difficult, because you start talking for a long time and then suddenly your voice becomes more defaulted, and then because like I end up with like 12 hours of footage sometimes for my fucking videos, even though they're not very long, but you just end up with like a lot of like B footage and like B cuts and stuff like that, and talking for such a long time sometimes like over a period of 2 or 3 days, like the voice gets tired. They want to reassert dominance generally over Scottish independence movements. Yeah. In Malaysia, you can get into trouble for even implying someone might be corrupt. Development projects are the biggest moneymakers for politicians. Yeah. Oh, you've invested money in this development company, and now this development company is wanting to like build houses in this new development area. Weird. Weird how they got a good deal on that development. I'm so cynical. I have a meeting tomorrow with the mayor. I need to shut the fuck. I need to calm down. I need to start talking shit. He's a very nice man. He is a conservative, which is, you know, a big drawback. Exactly, like it's a shame what's happening currently with like Sweden and Turkey, because like Turkey seems like a wonderful country, but like Erdogan and like the people who Erdogan and the people who sort of like are keeping up Erdogan as much as possible, like they're all assholes. But I would honestly like love going to Turkey sometime, for multiple reasons. I would love to see like the Hagia Sophia. And like do history stuff in Istanbul, but alas, I don't feel like super good about doing that. And also like they got cheap plastic surgery, and it's good too, I've heard. Allegedly, I've heard. And I want plastic surgery. Where's the music? Magic Generator, just be like Ireland. I get the. This is what I've been saying. This is what I've been saying. Like, let Finland join NATO if they want to, because then we're gonna be surrounded on all sides by NATO powers, who probably wouldn't like. Who would probably have to defend Sweden anyway, because we're just in their airspace and we cooperate with them anyway. Just like let them join and have a nice. Please say outrageous things as a politician sabotage the NATO process. Oh yeah, sure, Erdogan is a fascist, and I also love the YPG. The YPG are freedom fighters who have fought for our freedom in fighting ISIS, and Sweden should not deport them. And Erdogan is a fascist. I say that as a representative of my party. Is this shitposting, or am I actually doing this? This is okay, here's the problem of being an internet shitposter politician. Because like on one end, I shitpost on Twitter every day. But on the other end, the shit that I say are technically the words of me. So... Demand freedom for Kurdistan if Turkey wants NATO support. See, that's, now we're talking. Speaking of things, this isn't necessarily something that's going to happen in the upcoming month, necessarily. No, it is actually. It is in the upcoming month. I've reached a point now, because I get paid a little bit for being a politician. Not a ton of money. I make way more money being a YouTuber, and I don't make a ton of money being a YouTuber either. But I make more money doing that than I make making politics. But because I earn a little bit of money in politics, I'm going to reinvest that money into YouTube, because I'm only going to be earning money on YouTube for another year, from politics for another year and a half. After that, in a deal we've made with other parties, because politics, part of the deal is that I have to resign from one position and give it to another political party. And that's fine. That's the deal we made. We negotiated on that deal, and we got a bunch of other things in return for that, so that's worth it. But that means I won't get paid after that. And YouTube, I need that to keep going. So politics income is a very temporary thing. But I'm going to reinvest that money into a studio space. And I found a studio space, finally, fucking finally. It's taken me like a year or over a year to find a studio space where I can record. And I found a place in Stockholm where I can shoot my videos and record videos that seem to be pretty good, that are connected to, that are coupled with an actual production company. So hopefully, for my February video, that one's going to be a bit more professionally made. Hopefully, we'll see. I've been trying so difficult to like escape from shooting, you know, by my bedroom wall, because it kind of limits a lot of the stuff that you can do, and graduate into actually recording somewhere else, a bit more professionally. Finance an execrable space program. I would, if I had the money, I would. I would like to bring forward a motion that the municipality should spend $15 million on the video game Kerbal Space Program 2. This will have a significant ROI for the municipality, and it will secure both educational means and financial means for the next coming 5 quarters. I'm like, hold on, whomst is this? Vlad, sure, Vlad the Impaler. I'm not gonna say Vlad the Impaler did nothing wrong. That's not something I'm gonna say, because he did many things wrong. Jesus. Doesn't the Nordic Council, Nordic Union already include a defense pact? So it's not kind of, but not really. Like, there is defense cooperation in the Nordic Union, but there's no equivalence to Article 5 of NATO. And Article 5 of NATO is like a very powerful clause, right? Which states, you know, if one member country, all the other member countries will see that attack as an attack on itself. And there's no real equivalence to that elsewhere. Because it would mean essentially that, like, if one country is like brought into a war, all countries are brought into the war, and then you have, like, you know, it's currently in the current geopolitical landscape, it is a military alliance that has like more military power than anyone else. So it would be nonsense to try to attack it. The Nordic Union is slightly different, but even if it existed, it could technically work in order to like bring in other NATO countries like Norway. But it's not equivalent to Article 5. That was a bright monitor. I have many bright monitors. I have a screen. I have one screen here, in front of me right here, where I have my streaming setup, and I have one screen here where I have everything else. Or how it typically is in my life, this screen for all of my editing work, and then this screen is for World of Warcraft, which is currently how it is. Polish government subsidies. Honestly, like, I know that the Swedish government does a lot of subsidies for video game companies, but the municipality that I'm part of doesn't necessarily do that. That's more of a that's a bit more limited. Because I'm not a high-ranking politician. I don't have a lot of power over anything. I have the power to vote on like libraries and schools, and elder care homes, like where to build a new road, which is still important shit, right? But I'm not like a high-ranking politician. I can't control that shit. He gave a copy of The Witcher 2 to Obama. That's good. Aren't you terrified of Russian aggression with no NATO? I understand the anti-NATO sentiment, but I would be too scared to oppose it right now. Honestly, not really. Cause like to me, like there's been like some fear, right, of Russian aggression against one of our islands in the Baltic Sea. That has like a very strategically important location, and that would suck if the Russians tried to take. But I was very much more afraid like around like a year ago, for example. A year ago I was a lot more afraid, and then I was a lot more like understanding of the idea of joining NATO. But now Russian military incompetence has sort of, it hasn't really convinced me that like we're out of the danger, but I just feel like they have, Russia has other shit to deal with right now, and they're not dealing with it very well. And I have the gut feeling that if we were to be attacked for some reason, then that would prompt an even stronger sort of response, because we're not a former Soviet nation like a lot of people sort of like use it as an excuse for why like Ukraine and Russia has beef for each other, and we're not. It's not an area that has like a large ethnic Russian population. There's like things like that, right? And so because of that, I don't really see sort of like that happening very realistically. For Finland, I would be a lot more concerned, because Finland has a land border with Russia, but Sweden doesn't, and that's the thing that sort of like makes me feel a bit more safe, because I just feel like we're a bit just further away from Russia, and yeah. But I should also clarify, like, I'm not necessarily against NATO on sort of like the idea that we don't need it. I think it could provide a great deal of security against Russia, right? But if we join NATO, we're gonna be in NATO for the next decade, 2 decades, and like who knows how the world security threat is going to look then. And I'm personally not super hype about the idea of sacrificing like our human rights record, which is pretty good, because like we want the reason why we want to join NATO, right, is to protect our human rights record, and we want to protect the safety and security that we have. So if we undermine that safety and security and the rights that we have in order to like join NATO, then we kind of lose the point of why we want to join NATO in the first place. If we are forced to deport people who we otherwise wouldn't deport, then we're no longer like we're no longer a free country. And at that point it's like, well, why did we join NATO then, if we wanted to protect our right to be a free country? And that's like a big concern too. And like we don't really know how like a NATO cooperation would work, right? Because it would almost definitely mean like American soldiers on Swedish soil. Like, I don't really want like US army bases in Sweden. I don't necessarily want like US Air Force bases in Sweden. I don't necessarily want like nuclear weapons on Swedish soil, which, you know, they say that we're not going to have, but who knows how that's going to turn out. And to me then the easier and more simpler and like still safe choice is to not be NATO. But that's me. But I also will say that like, because it's an overwhelming support among Swedes that we should join NATO, I feel sort of like I don't have to sort of like worry too much about the implications of my choice, because I get to criticize NATO for the things that I think are wrong about it. And how do you say? Like, I don't have to, like, if we were like this close to a choice, I to like whether to join NATO or not, like in an election or something, we didn't. This is another fucking thing. We didn't vote on it. It's an undemocratic decision. Like, I would be actually fine with joining NATO if we had a referendum about it, but we didn't. We never had a referendum about it. Our government just did it, and then that government lost the election, and then the new government is still trying to join NATO because both sides of the vote were pro-NATO. So we had no vote over it, which I personally I'm against that on principle, honestly. Like, I think I would be a lot more in favor of NATO if we voted for it, because then I could have voted against it, and yeah. And if the polls said that there was like this 50-50 chance of like going either way, I might re-examine sort of some of my initial ideas about NATO, and maybe I come out in favor of it. I doubt it, but maybe. And I don't really feel like a huge need to do that right now, because like we're gonna try to join NATO anyway. So I can pretty freely like criticize the parts of it and try to, which I can justifiably criticize, because it's not going to change anything, except for maybe, hopefully, make people more critical of NATO, which I think is better than uncritical support of NATO. Anyway, foreign policy debate, fun. I've done newspaper interviews about this as well, so that's why I have some media training answers done, ready to go. Fallout after the last 30 years ago, illegally charging people for certain things. You can't do that. Petition to rename Sollentuna to Tuna Town. I agree. City skyline powers. Can your municipality build a massive dam? Yes, we could. We have dams, actually. We don't have massive dams, but we have some dams. So that's a good suggestion. Can you tell it's fucking difficult to keep the mental check of like, don't let your voice drop. Don't let your voice drop. Some Irish people want to join NATO, and I have zero idea why. The only countries who are ever going to invade the Sheet Island are the Brits or the Americans. Yeah, I don't necessarily see Russia invading Ireland. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to I'm hoping personally to make this union into NATO as annoying and difficult as possible, because like if we have to sacrifice our basic rights in order to join an organization that will help us protect our basic rights, then I don't see the point in doing it in the first place. You have a nice voice. Thank you. I'm trying to make it better, especially in streams and shit. Doing it at home when you're just like frying potatoes or something like that, then my head doesn't even think of it. But I'm fucking trying to reboot my transition. I think we deported a few people in November. Yeah. Do I have any New Year's resolutions? I do have a few. Some of them I can't say on stream because they're crimes. What can I say? One is go to the gym more, and I haven't been all January. And another resolution that I have is to hire a production assistant for YouTube. That is one of my things. I'm still struggling to like find a time to like reply to people, because people sent me applications back in like October or something like that, and I need to get back to them and ask if they're still interested in like applying, and then have interviews, and because I need to have like a person who can like text me being like, hey, how's that script coming along? Do you want me to like review it, maybe add some notes? I need a person who like does that, because my ADD brain, my ADHD brain much prefers to sit and play Dome Keeper or something like that, or Theme Hospital or World of Warcraft for 8 hours than to write a script for 1 hour. And I'm getting pretty good at like managing it, but some weeks are just a fucking mess, and I need like an external person to sort of like come into my life and kick my ass so I can work, because I work better if someone's like trying to monitor me. I'm hiring a person who can be my boss, so I can be kept in check. So that's basically how that situation works out, which is very problematic in politics world, because I'm the boss there. I don't have a boss. The only boss that I have is the electorate, the Swedish people. And that's the only boss that I have. But the Swedish people aren't like a person. No CB Ireland. Yeah. Like when Portugal joined fucking NATO, they were fucking fascists. How does one get into politics in the Stockholm area? Isn't super hard to do, so a bunch of people don't want to do that. Like, how do you get on a party list? Good question. So the way I did it was I contacted my local party affiliation and found out that they were chronically understaffed, with not enough people not enough people to like fill out the ballot, and not enough people to do the job that like you kind of needed to do to have a party operational. And I was like, I'll help. I want to help. I want to do something. You know, I didn't even plan on like running for office back then. And I joined the board of that party affiliation. I went to member meetings. I did all that kind of stuff. And then when the election rolled around and we were submitting party lists, because I had shown up a lot and like put in like a lot of the effort, they basically asked me if I wanted to be like high up on the list, and like they asked me if I was interested in like running for a seat in the city council, and I was like, hell yeah, sounds great. I want to do that. But you can also when you join a party affiliation, you can contact the what's called valberedning, or like the preparatory election commission within your party, and tell them like, hello, I'm this, I would like to be on the ballot basically the next election, or I would like to join a committee, because you can join a committee once a year, even outside of election years. And that way you get to know people within the party, you get to know trust, because you kind of need to sort of build trust and relationships. And then the election rolls around, the election commission, your local party affiliation will have a meeting when they decide the order of the candidates on the list. I ended up on number 3, which was high enough for me to get elected, because we got 4 seats. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm number 3. And then we had a meeting, and then I was elected, and then we had a meeting after that when we had to elect sort of one of those 4 people who would be in charge of the group, and then we elected me. So like you can get into politics pretty easy. Like you just need to it's important to sort of like join a party and help the party outside of the politics necessarily. You have to show up to meetings, you have to like campaign, you have to put up posters and stuff like that, because then people get to know you, and like you become a person that like people can put trust in, and then when that happens, when the election comes around, you can lobby for yourself to be like high up on the list, and then if you get high enough on the list and you get enough seats in the municipality or the count or the state or the parliament, essentially, then those things will like tabulate together along with like write-in votes and stuff like that, and you'll find out when you're elected after that, which involves like equations being used and shit. It's very fun, but that's how you can do it. For me, it was very easy because we were understaffed, and I'm in a very small municipality. If you were in the greater Stockholm, if you were in Stockholm municipality, like the biggest municipality in the country, you would have a harder time, because then you have people who they want to be career politicians, and they want to hang around forever. They want to be in parliament. They want to be prime ministers. But in my municipality, we have we have people who have been former communist guerrilla fighters, like anarchist garden commune members, and a bunch of like librarians and school teachers who together sort of have formed a small party affiliation. It's fun. I like it. Our Navy is 4 sailing boats and doesn't give a fuck. That's fun. Inshallah, we all succeed. Inshallah, my voice will be high. Did you say reboot your transition? I did indeed. It's been a decade from, I've been transitioning for a decade now, and it's been sort of like I transitioned in 2012, had a depressive like collapse, transitioned like again like in 2015-16, had another depressive collapse, and it takes time to sort of rebuild your life after sort of like a depressive burnout collapse thing. And now I'm doing better than ever in terms of like mental health, financial resources, things of that nature. So by god damn it, I'm going to use it to make my voice better. My voice sounded fine in like 2014, and then, depression happened. I'm going to end the stream for today because we've been streaming for an hour. But before we go, I'm going to catch up with chat. So if you have any questions or viewpoints or other things that you would like to bring up, let me know, and I will reach the end of the chat before I go. For those of you who want to see more streams and shit like that, you should go. You should wait until Wednesday, because on Wednesday my next video is gonna come out. Hopefully, inshallah, it will be out, and it will be. That video is about masculinity, and it's about men, and it's about like the concept of toxic masculinity, and like how we can help men, and should we help men, and whether or not masculinity is in a crisis or not, and what that crisis means. I think it's a good video. I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah. I'm gonna publish a streaming schedule next week as well. So if you're curious like when the next one of these Hangout streams is gonna happen, I'll post that then, along with the Ask Me Anything streams that patrons have access to. Next month, actually, there's actually going to be there's going to be one extra stream for patrons next month, and that's because I've had a lot of migraines this month, January, so I wasn't able to have the stream where I watch an older video of mine and react to it in real time, and I had to move it. So in February this month, I'm going to have that twice to sort of catch up and not like leave you hanging. And hopefully in February, I'm also going to be able to stream more games. I have this idea that I'm going to like, I'm considering getting like a streaming computer so that I can stream City Skylines without it crashing, and then I will emulate the municipality that I'm in charge of. Like I'll try to make it an actual simulation of the municipality that I'm actually a part of. Like I'll make a custom map and everything. That I think that's gonna be a good sort of like game thing to do. I think that's gonna be very Polygon.com friendly. I think. But with that said, let's catch up with chat, and then I'm gonna head out. There's more than 500,000 elected positions in the US, so it's generally not very hard to get elected to something. That's true. Me getting elected was very easy. It's more, you know, elections for sort of like some key positions that are typically a bit more difficult to how do you say, get into, because then you have to fight. Part of our party you come, thank you. Will the new video be a premiere? I'm desperately hoping for it to be a premiere, because I'm very proud of this video so far, and videos that I really want to show off typically get premieres. Whereas videos where I'm like, I have depression and anxiety and I don't like what I have, those videos typically just get released. Even though they're typically like, quality-wise, they're pretty much the same, and like analytics-wise, there's not a huge difference between them, but like it's just in my internal psyche. Having a normal one in the balloons. The balloons is weird. I'm partially just my accent because I'm from the northeast of England. Bless. What do you think of the international fencing thing? So at the International Fencing Congress or something like that, or conference, the Swedish delegation started talking about LGBT rights because there's going to be some tournament in Saudi Arabia. So the Swedish delegation was like, well, how are gay fencers going to do this? And people like protested them a little bit. It was a mess. But I haven't actually looked into it. I've just seen the headlines. It's hard to say. This was my first time on your stream. Welcome. It was a really nice being on. I'm glad. Thank you, mesothelioma. And I hope we'll see you around on the next Hangout stream. I like having these ones. Check your email when possible. I will do this. Is there a new Leechfest episode coming soon? Yes, there is. We have. It is recorded. It's currently being edited, and it's a long one too. Like it took like 3.5 hours to record that episode. So it's probably going to be a part 1 and part 2 on that one. But there is a new Leechfest episode coming soon, and we will soon be back on our regularly scheduled timeline with the podcasts too, since our like holiday break. But with that said, I've reached the end of the chat, and I will see. I'm gonna take this to leave now, and I will see all of you hopefully on Wednesday when my next video is gonna come out. And it's been a great time to hang out with you now, and I hope to see you then. Yeah. Bye bye.